Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I am Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Collectively, we are the Office Blokes.
Yes.
It is a true factual statement. And we watch videos on the internet. It's just something we do, isn't it?
We enjoy doing.
I'm not saying we created reaction channels, but we definitely...
We're pioneers.
We pioneered... We've
taken it up a level.
We pioneered being three English guys that sit in this building doing reaction videos.
We're the first ones to do it in this building.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
in this building.
And especially in here, no one's done it
That we
before.
know of, anyway.
It was a video conferencing building before we...
Actually, it was. You're right.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Anyway, right, real prison escapes caught on camera. It's going to have El Chapo on there, isn't it? Because I think we saw that.
On camera.
Yeah, because he kind of... We reacted to a
yeah,
video
it
that
was
showed
like,
it.
Kind of went behind the
helicopter on
toilet,
Yeah, he went
didn't
behind a little privacy bit and then just into a tunnel and
That's
gone.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's some good ones here.
Yeah.
I think the thumbnail showed a helicopter, but that might just be for thumbnails.
Correct.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Anyway,
I
let's
don't
get...
know, but it's happened.
I'm sure it has happened.
Got to. Yeah.
I mean, it happened in the UK because what's going to happen to the helicopter? It's not like jets are going to come out and shoot it down.
I know,
is
yeah.
it? Anyway, let's do it. Real prison escapes caught on camera.
Criminals have been trying to escape prisons ever since their inception. In most cases, prison breaks fail, but this isn't always the case. Escapes don't only happen in the movies, as they actually happen much more often than you'd like to think in the real world. It's human nature to seek freedom, and it's going to be very clear the lengths some people will take to relish that sweet taste of fresh air. Luckily for us, most fail, but those very few truly committed criminals who are willing to risk it for the biscuit sometimes succeed spectacularly. Ready to meet the guys that escaped and lived to tell the tale? Let's get it on. Under the radar. Sometimes you just have to wing it. No pre-planning, thought process, or careful consideration. If you see an opening, you take it. Two inmates were on garage duty outside the high fences of the prison. All it took was a fleeting glance towards each other, a little nod, and they were off. They bolted out of the prison grounds as fast as they could, leaving the supervising guard staring after them in disbelief as he called in the escape on his radio. Once the coast was clear, the pair split up to go their separate ways, every man for himself. They were apprehended a few days later in a nearby barn and apartment complex. How these guys flew under the radar and convinced the guards to let them outside without restraints is anyone's guess. Over the...
Must be a pretty low security prison, that.
You would guess so. Yeah, it must have been, mustn't it?
If I ever get put in jail for anything, right, it depends how long the time it is, how long I'm spending in there, but I'm trying to break out every day. Every hour, every minute of every hour of every day, I'm figuring out I'm getting out of there. Yeah.
I mean, God knows what actually. It's all down to the people you're with, isn't it, as well? You
Yeah.
might go there and have a great time and just be hanging out with the guys all day, every day.
Great
No.
time.
You might go there and absolutely hate it and anything in between.
Oh,
You might
You're
get
not gonna
married.
enjoy it. No.
You might get married and settle down in prison.
We try to break out every minute.
fence. Some criminals would move heaven and earth in order to be free from the prison walls. Others would just simply move part of the wall. These two inmates removed a couple of cinder blocks and squeezed through the openings before throwing a blanket over a 25-foot high razor wire fence and fleeing into the woods. The holes in the wall were covered by posters, and they even made dummies out of pillows and blankets in their beds to buy them valuable time. After all that work, they were caught when a local resident saw tracks in the mud at a nearby creek and alerted the authorities. If you're thinking of breaking out of jail, it'd probably be best if you didn't follow in the footsteps of these crooks.
And threw a blanket over the razor wire before running across the roof to a temporary freedom.
Think fast, act.
I used to watch a lot of the YouTube prison content before we got into doing reactions, and I can't remember the guy's name, but there was a guy telling a story about how he seduced a female guard to fall in love with him, and then they were going to run away together, and she helped him get out, and then he just ditched her and left her there.
Wouldn't you?
And he got out, and I think he was on the run for a bit. But then she was the one who got caught because he kind of left her and threw her under the bus, and then she ended up in prison.
It's every man for himself, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But this guy was running a like an eBay shop from prison, and I think she was the one collecting the items that he was buying and selling off a phone. And I think he ended up with like thousands of dollars just running this eBay shop.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a crazy story.
Wow.
Act fast. When at first you don't succeed, try and try again. After a few failed attempts over the course of a day, this jailbird decided to bide his time and wait for his moment. When one presented itself, he had to think fast and act fast. As the police moved away from the patrol car to process his transfer, this guy saw an opening as the garage door was closing. He sprinted out of the tiny opening with the best display of speed limbo you've ever seen in your life. As the roller door closed behind him, it took the cops valuable minutes to get outside, and by this stage, he was long gone. gone. He covered so much ground that not even a 2-hour sniffer dog search could find him. He was arrested the next day, and you could say his luck had run out. Pun very much intended. Slow and controlled. When you're not a criminal mastermind, you have to play to your strengths. Being a silver-tongued Casanova has its perks, especially if the guard making eyes at you just happens to be holding the keys to the only barrier between you and freedom. These guys calmly opened the gate and casually strolled out of the jail with no urgency at all, without a care in the world. There aren't many scenarios where a prison guard and an escaped con can live happily ever after. She's seen running her hands through her hair and looking totally stressed out, rethinking her life choices. The following day, she's arrested, and the 3 guys on the run are apprehended 5 days later after a tense siege with police. Stick to what you're good at, guys. Breaking hearts, not breaking out of jail.
A camera in the alley outside captured the men dressed in all white casually walking away.
Van hit and run.
Wow.
She didn't even think to time it, so she went to the toilet at the
Yeah,
time.
I know,
They walked past,
yeah.
like, a little bit of plausible deniability.
5 days on the running, then you get caught. 5 days is enough to get out of the town and then get away. So I mean, I don't know where they were caught, but
If you've got no resources,
I
and
know,
a lot of these
Short
prisons are in
break,
the sticks,
short
aren't
break,
they?
weekend away somewhere.
just go to Wales, man. They'll never find you. Nothing there.
If the prisons are in the middle of nowhere and you're, from California and suddenly you're in the sticks in, like, I don't know, I was going to say the name of a place and get it wrong and it'd be next to California. But if the accent doesn't match and you're just like in a small town full of prison guards that probably all work at the local prison.
No one likes the grass though, but I don't know. You'd figure it out, I think. Criminals, these guys. I mean, they're not the smartest because they're all inside, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one been caught.
I think you'd have to lay
Again.
low, but proper lay
Yeah, you
low,
have to-
like
yeah,
in
go
the
underground.
sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go and stay in a motel.
for a while.
Yeah. Oh, you'd have to be like, I don't know. I mean, we're
Have to be
speculating.
months.
Yeah.
Let's go to Rill. You blend right in there.
Absolutely, yeah.
No one goes there.
Mexico, go for the border.
No, I just got Dover, right? And just go, no English.
Just walk up the beach.
Yeah.
Make your legs
yeah.
all wet.
They'll move you. They'll move you
Pulling
to
a
Hale.
dinghy, pulling a dinghy behind you. You'd be right in there.
You'll end up in a hotel in Hale.
Have a new identity.
If something's too good to be true, it generally is. A group of prisoners were being escorted through the garage on their way back to their cells. One is seen lingering, and soon after walks behind a transport van out of sight, with the guards going ahead and not noticing he's missing. All that's left for him to do is open the door, turn the key that's so conveniently sitting in the ignition, and start the van. It's like the stars have aligned and the universe is almost begging him to take his chances for freedom. He floors the van, smashing through the garage door, and is free and clear. Or so he thought. He crashed into some trees nearby and was arrested. Most people steal a car and then get sent to jail, not the other way around.
If he would have just pressed the button to open the door and driven off
He'd
slowly,
have been gone, long gone.
They probably wouldn't have known at all. Not for a long time.
Probably till tomorrow.
you hear a big
Yeah.
smash like that, then stuff's happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Handcuffs. Even dumb criminals get lucky breaks eventually. After being arrested at a motel for theft, this woman found her way into a police holding cell. She was left alone with her phone to try to arrange bail money and a life home. She struggles to break free of the cuffs, anchoring her to the wall in between checking text messages. Even though police say the cuffs were on its tightest setting, she was able to wriggle her dainty hands free. She took the keys off a hook on the wall and used them to open an emergency exit to quietly slip out the back door while no one was watching. She was busted an hour later when she returned to the same hotel where she was arrested that morning, instantly recognized by the staff who worked there. Bulldozer attack.
Unbelievable.
Denmark is famous for Vikings and Lego bricks, but mass prison escapes? Not so much. 25 years ago, a TV film crew received an anonymous tip about a protest outside of a prison in Copenhagen and went there to document the event. What happened next was a bulldozer slamming into the brick wall of the jail and knocking it down, with prisoners running out of the hole like ants fleeing from their nest. They can be seen running down the street laughing and cheering, celebrating their newfound freedom. The film crew were arrested on suspicion of having prior knowledge of the escape and failing to notify police. 13 inmates escaped in total, some with lengthy jail terms for violent crimes and murder, with only 3 ever being caught. Detailed instructions.
Unbelievable.
That
being the 3.
Unbelievable.
phoning the film crew to muddy the water and put other bodies there was
that's
a
it.
stroke of genius, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just enough that it'll take up a few extra guards to go and get the crew and figure out what they're up to.
Yeah. That's what you do. It's
Wow.
proper like obstruction of like don't know, what do you call it? I don't know what you call it. Deflection, if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Instructions. Prisons are designed to keep inmates in, not to give them easy ways to get out. After all, the key to success is executing a carefully detailed plan. Typically, you would think that installing air vents large enough for a man to squeeze through close to the floor would be a bad idea in a prison, but this was exactly how this trio gained access into the plumbing shafts behind the wall. They used ropes made out of bed sheets and had a getaway van waiting with fresh clothes and a bottle of Jack Daniels for a celebratory drink. It only took 8 minutes for 3 inmates to complete their complex plan, ironically using a cell phone to film their escape from their cell. These guys traded 15 minutes of fame for an extra 15 years behind bars. Daring escape. They say that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Arrested at school for fighting, this teenager was left alone in an interrogation room for only 10 seconds before he threw caution to the wind and fearlessly jumped out of a 16-foot-high second-story window. He may just have rubber bones, as he got straight back up after surviving the fall and got out of there as fast as his legs could carry him. The cop comes to check on him 14 minutes later, and you can clearly hear him saying a few choice words when he realizes what's happened. The boy was found 3 hours later at his friend's house. We can safely say that when he turns 21, the only bars he'll be attending will be made of iron.
What a stupid thing to do.
What was
They
the
said
point?
16th. I was going to say 16th floor.
So
was
did
gonna
I.
say, jeez.
Yeah, I thought I was going to say that as well.
Probably like
Absolutely.
going to end up being a slap on the wrists for him at that age if it's just fighting.
I would guess so, yeah.
And now it's probably like evading justice or obstructing justice. You know, like so.
It's teenagers for you, though, isn't it? What goes
Over
through
here,
their
they wouldn't
minds?
be asked looking for him.
Probably not, no.
Going like, it's gone.
Through the window. The mind is a powerful thing. All you have to do is believe in yourself and commit. This inmate had a pretty simple plan. He was being processed in a detention center. One of his buddies would distract the guard while he made his getaway. When he saw an extremely small window, he thought think thin over and over in his head before taking a running leap, diving through the window. Once outside, he got into the getaway car his girlfriend was waiting in, and they were off like a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde. 26 days later, they were discovered living in an abandoned house in the next state after an anonymous tip-off. The warden said he's taking extra steps and putting locking mechanisms on the window, which should have been a no-brainer in a prison. Psst, hey, you still there? Well, since you made it this far, here are all the shout-outs we promised everyone that commented on our previous video. If you want to be shouted out in our next upcoming video as well as the ones prior, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel and leave a comment down below saying, "Pick me." Once you're at it, you might as well leave a like too.
That was,
Yeah,
it was
good
good
one.
to hear
Interesting, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
El Chapo won on there.
that. No,
No, he
I'm
wasn't.
surprised.
Yeah, someone just see a bit of an opportunity, don't they, and then think on the feet and bang, they're gone for it.
I wonder if some people go to crime because they just absolutely hate authority and hate being told what
Yeah,
to do
a lot
that
of people
much.
would,
I guess so, yeah.
in that context, we're thinking of it from our rational minds of you're probably just going to have to take the hit. You know, you've been arrested, you'll be out the next day. But they're like, nah, fuck you can't tell me what to do. And
I'm
then
out.
they're just
Some
out
of
of
them
there.
have got an extra 15 years, though.
Yeah,
as
but
well.
you don't know what the original sentence was.
They
Might
may
have
be
been
doing life without
life was-
parole
yeah,
anyway or
yeah,
something.
maybe.
But does it matter?
Yeah, I
You know what I
suppose
mean?
so. If you're in that position, you'd probably give it a go, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But
It's just madness, isn't it?
It's like-
don't do the crimes, kids.
The one that the two that sort of stood out for me there was the ones that got caught at the end, living in the abandoned house in the next state. Someone grassed them up. They were 28 days in or something like
Yeah.
that. Was. So
Yeah.
they've gone a long, or 25 days. They've gone a long time. They could have gone longer if someone had grassed them up.
Yeah, they probably would have, but you don't know what sort of press coverage this is getting. Their faces may have been plastered absolutely everywhere across all the surrounding
it's probably more the
states.
fact that it's just two people living in an abandoned house.
Yeah.
They probably didn't know that they were escaped.
Yeah,
from anywhere.
yeah,
They
yeah.
probably just thought, oh, they shouldn't be living in there, sort of thing.
No one likes a
maybe.
grass, but
But-
you also don't want an escaped convict. Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
if someone
squatting
goes
in
in
the
a
house
bit
next to you.
shady in an empty house next door, you're not going to,
won't be happy about it,
you
will
don't
you?
want
Well,
that, do you?
it's not like they're earning money, is it? So they're going to be robbing your stuff. They're probably going to burgle your house to get food and things like that. So, yeah, it's not. That's not being a grass in that context. I don't
yeah,
think.
it's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
And the other one was the van driver who barged through the door.
Yeah, open
I
the-
think, but he crashed the van further down the road. Like,
I know,
mate, you've got
yeah.
a golden opportunity there.
Yeah.
Not only have you escaped, you've got a vehicle.
yeah, I mean, I know it's all wrong, but that was quite clever. That one, the way he spotted the opportunity.
I
Just
think
sort of,
the key was still
Yeah.
in the ignition. The security guard might have been in on it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or it may be that different people drive it all the way throughout the day, so
Yeah,
it just gets
yeah.
left there.
it's never happened before, so they just get into a habit of leaving.
But
it
a
in
security
maybe.
guard, it wasn't like a 52-seater van, 52-seater bus. Do you know what I mean? It was like
Yeah.
a small little van with probably 8 did he count off 8 maybe?
It probably
6
was
or 8.
something like that, yeah.
And he can't count 6 or 8 back in. That's
No,
one job he's got.
Exactly, yeah. I mean,
Pretty
that's
basic
the,
stuff, isn't it?
that's the job they're actually doing, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
what made me suspect of it, that he didn't
Yeah,
count them all in.
yeah,
He just
maybe.
ignored that one
Yeah.
guy who walked around the other side.
Yeah.
Counts up to 7 and goes, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
What was that Big Bang? Yeah. Anyway,
Nice.
hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.